knows the truth and they know who we are. They know what was done. They know why the 14th Amendment was written. It was only written to give black people the same rights that white people had. It wasn't even no foreigners. Because they're saying it happened over 128 years ago, they're going.
Well, actually, here's what happened, and I'm going to bore you all to death. So at the end of the Civil War, there were already black people who were always free, but there was a case called Plessy versus Ferguson, and it basically said black people were chattel slavery. Now, before that, black people could vote. Black people were, or so let me kind of slow down a little bit because I know we got people who are going to pick this apart. So I think that Plessy versus Ferguson probably shouldn't have been brought. I think it was untimely because of the makeup of the Supreme Court. Because prior to that, we had black people owned land, black people had rights. You had black people who served in juries, black people who were. There was one black man who was a justice of the peace. Very early on, you had black people who participated in the military. But over time, the racial divide and segregation, the laws began to kick in because you needed to separate the races based on color, because you had one group of people who were supposed to be the slave class. And so in order to do that, you can't keep intermarrying. So that's where the anti-miscegenation laws and the laws that prevented us from owning land. But there's always been successful black people throughout the United States and the colonies. So now Plessy versus Ferguson comes along right before the Civil War, and it says, no, we're going to strip black people of all their rights. And so now the war is fought, and according to the Supreme Court, black people didn't have rights. We were property. This is worldwide. This is nationwide. So the 14th Amendment came along to say, no, even though there was this previous Supreme Court ruling that said we were property, and if you're property and now you're free, what are you? You were property, you were classified as property before, and now you're free. But that still didn't give you citizenship. So the 14th Amendment came along to give those people who were born on the soil citizenship. Because, see, we were denied citizenship based on blood. Somebody type just soul in the chat room. Just soul. J-U-S soul. And it comes from a common law tradition. The king, anybody born in the territory of the king is a subject of the king. Why? Because the king owes that person a defense. You see, the king is obligated to that person, so that person is obligated to the king. So all the 14th Amendment did was reverse Plessy versus Ferguson, which says, no, even though you were born here on this soil, because of your blood, because of your lineage, you are not a citizen. So birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment reversed that. Is that clear? You see where it came from? That's the origins of it. So it's the tradition is always, the English tradition has always been of the soil. If you're born on this soil, you're a subject or you're a citizen. Plessy versus Ferguson said, yeah, even though they were born on the soil, because of their blood, they're not citizens. So the 14th Amendment came along and said, nah, we're going to reverse that. We're going to go back to what the king said. You're born on the soil, you're a citizen. Is that clear? Is that just so? Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. If you understand that, did I make that clear? Type just soul in the chat room. And again, we'll let this brother finish speaking.
To keep it. Happened 128 years ago because of what was done to us and how we fought to fix that. Our ancestors fought to fix it. They didn't fight to fix it for everybody else. This was done for us. Continue to push those documents for the class action lawsuit, because it's bigger than the class action lawsuit. It's way bigger than the class action. It's not just about money. It's about land. It's about truth. It's about what happened to us and who we are. It's about identity. It's about everything. They reclassify American Indians to Negro, color, and black. Those Negro, color, and black people are our great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers. And those great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers, their parents were the people of the owners of this land. This birthright citizenship being struck down is deeper than this.
So yeah, it's a lot of black people with some well-developed opinions on this subject matter. And we have one more, and then we'll go ahead and proceed. So we heard two black men speak. We'll listen to this lady. Let's see what she has to say.
Ruled that way regarding birthright citizenship, because it's going to affect more people than the ones that they intended it on affecting. It wasn't only going to affect black and brown people and everybody else in between. It was going to.
What is this music? What is this music? Why can't people just say stuff without the music? Why can't you just talk without the music? Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Be affecting white people too. So, also, if they would have ruled it like against upholding it, that would have been sheer insanity. That would have been insanity. That would have just.
It would have kind of put us in line with the rest of the world, ma'am. That's what it would have kind of done. You don't just show up to somebody else's country, drop off a baby, and automatically have citizenship. That's pretty uncommon. That's not really something that's common, but proceed, please.
That would have just imploded the United States. So
no, it wouldn't.
I wasn't. I'm not surprised.
It was not gonna be applied retroactively. It just meant moving forward, agencies under the United States executive branch would not recognize the citizenship of children born to parents who are illegal. And there's two categories. I'm gonna go into a little bit as great detail as I can, but let's let her
finish. Voted to uphold it. So
okay, all right. We want to thank her for her points. Thank you, ma'am. You made some valid points. We heard from the people. Now, let's go ahead and just kind of get down to it. And I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible because I want you guys to get it, and this is a long, the doggone opinion was almost 200 pages long. The dissent was 75 pages long. But anyway, here's where we start. So President Trump signed an executive order protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. It was signed on January 20th, 2025, the very day he was inaugurated. I remember, like, wow, he's on it, right? And that matters because it shows this wasn't some side issue or afterthought. This is day one priority, right alongside the rest of his very aggressive immigration enforcement agenda. And that order said a child born in the United States wouldn't automatically receive birthright citizenship, if the mother was unlawfully here and the father wasn't a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident, or if the mom was here lawfully but temporarily, she's just passing through, and the father wasn't a citizen, a lawful permanent resident, then they wouldn't be citizens. I mean, think about it. He's basically saying if you fly in on the airport in JFK pregnant and you go into labor and they take you somewhere to the Bronx Memorial Hospital and you give birth, you trying to get to France. You're not even an American citizen. You might be your child is now an American citizen. That's what they're saying. And the father's not an American citizen. You may not have any. They're just passing too. Just think about that. Okay. And Trump kind of said, well, yeah, that's a bit ridiculous.